The way you begin your morning determines how you command your day, and the way you command your day determines the life you build. Let me say it plainly. If you want to change your life, you must first change your mornings. The masses wake up late. They reach for their phones. They react. They let the world rush in before they've even taken a breath of intention. And then they wonder why their lives are out of control, why they feel lost, scattered, weak in spirit. But not you. You're not here to live like the masses. You're here to master yourself. Every morning you are given a gift, a blank canvas, a quiet hour when the world is still and your power is at its peak. But that power is wasted unless it is seized with purpose, with ritual, with absolute discipline. Your morning determines your destiny because it is the foundation upon which every success is built. The moment you rise is the moment you declare war or surrender. It is not the hour on the clock that defines a man's greatness, but the intention and discipline he brings into those early waking hours. A man who wakes with purpose, who does not allow the day to pull him but instead commands it from the moment his feet touch the floor, is a man who builds a life of deliberate success. But a man who wakes in chaos, who scrambles without direction, who reaches for distraction before direction, he is already defeated before the sun has risen. You must begin to understand that your morning is sacred ground. It is the only time the world is quiet enough for you to hear your own voice. Before the noise, before the demands, before the pressures of life attempt to claim your energy, you hold power. Power to align your thoughts, to discipline your actions, to reinforce your mission. And if you miss this moment, if you treat it casually, you lose the one opportunity each day to set your mind like flint toward the life you are building. Most men walk into the battlefield of life unarmed. They rise with no preparation, no focus, no plan, and then they wonder why the world beats them down. But the wise man understands. Success is not won in the afternoon. Success is decided in the early morning, long before opportunity knocks, long before resistance shows up. He conditions his mind before the doubt begins. He commands his emotions before the chaos tries to sway them. He does not stumble into the day. He storms into it already victorious because he has already done the inner work while the rest of the world slept. The morning is your private meeting with your future. What you do in that meeting determines the quality of every conversation, every decision, and every action that follows. If you wake with discipline, you carry that strength into your work. If you start your day feeding your vision, you protect yourself from the poison of distraction. If you begin by mastering yourself, nothing external can master you. A man who owns his morning owns his future. Do not leave your mornings to chance. Do not wake as a victim of your alarm, a servant to your schedule, a slave to comfort. Rise before the noise. Rise with resolve. Speak your goals aloud. See your future clearly and move your body with intention. Let your morning routine be a declaration of who you are becoming. Let it be the training ground for your highest self, because every morning you waste is a day you surrender, and every morning you conquer is a life you claim. The difference between average and exceptional lies in what a man does before the world is watching. Rise before the world wakes, and you will rise above the world itself. In those early hours when the city still sleeps and the noise has yet to begin, you meet yourself in the purest form. There is no distraction, no interruption, no opinion, only clarity, silence, and the voice of purpose that so many never stop long enough to hear. The man who disciplines himself to rise early claims an hour of gold that others trade for comfort. That hour is not ordinary. It is the hour where greatness is shaped, where intentions are declared, where the mind is sharpened and the soul strengthened. To rise before the world wakes is not merely a habit. It is a declaration of self-command. It is the daily proof that you are not ruled by comfort, that you are not governed by emotion or mood, but by decision. It is an act of courage because it means stepping away from the warmth of the bed, from the temptation of delay, from the excuse that says, just a little more. The man who rises early confronts weakness while others indulge in it, and in that confrontation he wins ground. He begins the day not as a victim of time, but as its master. While others sleep, the early riser writes his goals. He visualizes his future. He puts in the work when no one is watching. And that work, done in silence and solitude, compounds. It sharpens his discipline. It strengthens his confidence. It reinforces the idea that he is in control of his destiny. While the masses wake up to the demands of the world, he has already taken command of his mind, his body, and his mission. The quiet of the morning is not emptiness. It is opportunity. It is the only part of the day that is fully yours. When the sun is not yet up and the world is still, that is the time to align your thoughts with your purpose, to condition your body through movement, and to renew your spirit through reflection and gratitude. If you wait until the world wakes, your attention will be pulled in every direction. But if you rise before it does, your direction will already be set. Most people are reactive. They live in response to what the world throws at them. But the man who rises before the world does, he lives proactively. He does not stumble into his day, he designs it. He does not wait for motivation, he creates it. He does not beg time for more hours. He claims the hours others waste. That early morning discipline builds momentum, and momentum creates a life that compounds in power, purpose, and productivity. If you want to lead, if you want to grow, if you want to build something extraordinary, you must be willing to do what the ordinary avoid. And the most avoided, most neglected, and most powerful discipline is this: rising early with intention before the world begins. Because if you own the morning, you own the day. And if you own enough days, you will own your destiny. Everything you will ever become begins in your imagination. Every great empire, every invention, every towering achievement known to man began as a vision, seen first in the mind of its creator before it ever became real. The man who learns to visualize and declare his vision each morning aligns himself with the eternal laws of creation. What you see consistently, you begin to believe. And what you believe deeply, you begin to move toward with unshakable energy. The world does not shape your mind. Your mind shapes the world you walk in, but only if you dare to direct it with clarity and conviction. To visualize your vision is to program your subconscious for greatness. You must see, with detail and emotion, the future you are building. You must imagine yourself walking in that reality. See the work completed, feel the victory earned, experience the joy of achievement as if it were already yours. This is not fantasy. It is discipline. The mind cannot distinguish between that which is real and that which is vividly imagined. So when you visualize success, when you feel the emotions of that reality and repeat it with consistency, your mind begins to believe that it is possible and then inevitable. But visualization alone is not enough. You must also declare it. Speak it aloud. Put words to your vision, for words are power. Words carry vibration, authority, and intention. When you declare your vision, you do not just remind yourself, you command your subconscious, you instruct your brain, you awaken something dormant within. Say it aloud, who you are becoming, what you are creating, how you will show up today. Say it not as a wish, but as a truth waiting to be revealed. The man who declares his vision aloud affirms his commitment to it, and in doing so, strengthens the bridge between thought and action. Every morning, before the world claims your attention, go inward. Close your eyes and see the life you are building. Picture it vividly, the impact, the wealth, the health, the relationships, the freedom. Then open your mouth and declare it. I am disciplined. I am focused. I am building a life of purpose and power. I do not quit. I do not beg. I create. I endure. I conquer. These declarations are not for the world. They are for your mind. Because before the world believes in you, you must believe in yourself. And belief is built through repetition, emotion, and clarity of vision. Most people drift through life because they have no picture in their mind of where they are going. They wake up, go through the motions, and wonder why nothing changes. But the man who visualizes and declares his vision each day builds his life with intention. He carves it into his soul with discipline, and over time the invisible becomes visible, the imagined becomes actual, and the vision becomes reality, not by chance, but by the relentless focus of a man who knew where he was going long before the world could see it. The body is the servant of the mind, and when you move your body with intention, you awaken the power of momentum that drives all success. A man who refuses to move becomes stagnant, physically, mentally, spiritually, but the man who moves his body every single morning begins to command his inner world before the outer world has a chance to interfere. It is in the motion, in the struggle, in the deliberate movement that strength is formed, and strength creates progress. Progress creates belief, and belief fuels the action that changes a man's entire life. When you move your body, you are not merely exercising muscles, you are building character. You are choosing resistance when comfort whispers its lies. You are proving to yourself that you are willing to suffer for the sake of discipline. The blood begins to pump, the heart beats louder, the lungs expand with fire, and in that physical act, your spirit rises with it. It is not the body alone that benefits, it is your mindset, it is your focus, it is the voice inside that says, I will not be ruled by laziness, I will not surrender to weakness, I move because I lead, and I lead because I move. Motion is the enemy of fear and the friend of confidence. When you begin your day by moving your body, you shift your state. You transform passive thoughts into aggressive energy. Your doubts do not disappear, but they drown beneath the roar of your determination. The body is a gateway. When it is stagnant, the mind follows. But once you move, you activate something ancient within, the warrior, the builder, the creator, and in that activation you spark momentum. That momentum becomes force. That force becomes forward motion, and with forward motion, success cannot hide. You don't wait for motivation to move. You move to create motivation. The average man waits to feel ready. The exceptional man creates readiness through action. 10 push-ups in the morning may not change your physique, but they change your attitude. A walk at dawn may not build a kingdom, but it will build consistency, and consistency builds empires. The habit of movement each morning is not about fitness. It is about command. The man who moves when no one is watching, when no one demands it, when no one cares, is the man who trains his soul to act without approval. You are not fragile. You are not here to sit idle. You were designed to move, to struggle, to stretch, to sweat. Each movement sends a message to your mind. I am in control. I create momentum. I build my future. So do not wait. Do not negotiate with fatigue. Move your body before the day begins, and you will enter the day already victorious. The momentum you build in your body becomes the momentum that carries through your work, your conversations, your mission. Motion is power. Action is identity. And once a man is in motion, nothing can stop him. Only he can stop himself. Every day, life presents you with a choice more powerful than any circumstance, more valuable than any possession, the choice to decide who you will be. This decision is not made once in a lifetime. It is made every single morning. It is the conscious act of defining your identity before the world assigns one to you. Most people drift through their days wearing yesterday's labels, yesterday's excuses, and yesterday's limitations. But the man of purpose, the man of vision, the man of power, he wakes up and decides. He chooses his standard. He declares his values, and he aligns his actions accordingly. To decide who you will be daily is to reject passivity. It is to take full responsibility for your character, your behavior, and your destiny. You are not your past unless you choose to be. You are not your mistakes unless you permit them to define you. Each morning is a blank canvas, and the man who knows this walks into the day not as a product of circumstance, but as a creator of identity. He does not wait for the world to tell him who he is. He speaks it into existence. He says, "Today I am disciplined. Today I am courageous. Today I act in alignment with my purpose." And he does not just say it, he lives it. This kind of decision is not emotional. It is not dependent on how you feel when you wake up. It is forged in discipline, built by repetition, and strengthened by action. There will be mornings when your mind tells you to shrink, to quit, to go back to comfort. But it is in that very moment that your decision must rise louder than your mood. You must decide that you are the kind of man who does hard things, who keeps promises, who faces fear and does not flinch. You decide first, and you act from that identity. That is the way of all greatness. Every result in your life flows from this core decision. Who did you decide to be today? If you decide to be focused, your actions will mirror that. If you decide to be relentless, your obstacles will bow to your persistence. If you decide to be a leader, your environment will begin to respond to your certainty. Identity is the root of all behavior. Change the decision, and the behavior will follow. Change the behavior, and your results begin to shift. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your identity, and identity is shaped daily. The greatest power you hold is the ability to choose your attitude, your direction, and your standard. This is not reserved for the elite, the lucky, or the gifted. It is the daily responsibility of every man who seeks to build something meaningful. Each day that you fail to decide, you default, and in default, you live beneath your potential. But the day you begin to wake with intention, to claim your identity with conviction, and to live it with action, is the day your life begins to shift. Because destiny is not found. It is forged by the man who decides every morning who he will become.